Hello there friends, it's Ashley here from the Loopy Lamb and theloopylamb.com, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my review of this King Cole Forest Aran yarn. Today I'm going to be showing you this yarn worked up in some crochet swatches, and I'll be sharing my experience working with this yarn as well. So if you're ready to get started, please hit that like button and please consider subscribing to my channel. We publish new free content here weekly. So I have been doing some research and looking into more recycled yarns lately as a way to make my stitching a little more sustainable. So I couldn't resist giving this yarn a try when I learned that it is 100% recycled. So Forest Aran is a plied yarn that is comprised of 35% wool, 25% acrylic, 20% polyamide, and 25% viscose. It's labeled as an Aran weight yarn, and which is a size 4 yarn, and it comes in these 100 gram balls. In one of these balls, you'll get 239 yards or 218 meters of yarn. The suggested hook size for this yarn is 5 millimeters or an H crochet hook, and the suggested needle size for knitters is a 5 millimeter or US 8 needle. The gauge information given says that you can expect to get 18 stitches and 25 rows in a 4x4 inch swatch. Now, I will say that the label information here only gives knitter information. It doesn't actually indicate that this is for crocheters. However, I just kind of guessed at what the recommended hook size would be based on the needle size. So, this yarn is machine washable at or below 30 degrees Celsius, and it should be laying flat to dry. Do not throw this in the dryer. It'll likely felt on you. It also says that you should not iron or bleach it, but it can be dry cleaned. Now, in the Forest Recycled Aran line, there are 12 different colors, and they all have these really fun forest names like Heartwood Forest or Sherwood Forest. And I did my testing in these two colors here, which is the Forest of Dean and Red Bray Wood. Both of these colorways, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it on the camera, but I do hope you can, have these little flecks, almost like tweed neps in them that are a little more subtle in the Red Bray Wood, and there are some instances of much bolder flecks coming up in this gray colorway here. And I'll show you in my crocheted swatches here where some of them are a little bolder. Now, the plies as well has a little bit of heathering. So combined, the two characteristics, the little flecks and the heathering, creates a lot of character for the fabric and really creates a really beautiful fabric with a lot of visual interest. Now, I'll bring my swatches in and kind of show them to you here. So this first swatch here in the Forest of Dean colorway was done with this 5.5 millimeter or I crochet hook. And I started my swatches with a few rows of single crochet. I worked into some half double crochet and then finished off with some double crochet here at the top. Now, again, I hope this can be seen on the camera, but here in my single crochet rows, you can really see some of those little pops of color in the bolder flecks that do come out. Now, there's some kind of light blue, almost teal color, and some red, and they're much more condensed or closer together here in the bottom of the swatch. And as you move up in your fabric, they start to spread out naturally as the stitches get taller. Here's the other side of the fabric, and you can see some of those red flecks on the back here. In this fabric here, I do have some really nice drape. However, the fabric, as you can see probably on the camera, is that you can see right through it. So it's a little airier than I would have expected for an Aran weight yarn. And honestly, I'd probably say this is works up more like a light worsted or even a DK weight yarn over an Aran weight. Now, I also did some Tenation crochet swatching, and with this one, I had a really hard time stopping myself from crocheting because I was just enjoying it so much. In both swatches, there was no splitting or any issues like that. And it was just a delight to work with. But in these Tenetian swatches, the fabric it was creating was so beautiful. I just couldn't stop crocheting as I watched it progress. Now, this was done with a 5.5 millimeter hook as well. And here in the bottom, I did some simple stitches. Then I switched over and worked in several rows of the knit stitch. And then I started to experiment a little bit, and I did alternating rows of Tenetian purl stitch with the knit stitch to create almost kind of like a ribbing, and which you would with knitting, right? With knitting a basic purls, knit one, purl one. And in this instance, I did knit one, purl one, but for full rows. And I really liked the effect that we got. And then here at the top, I did a few rows of the Tenetian full stitch to finish it off. And again, I don't think that the camera is going to be able to pick it up or do it any justice, but the heathering and the little specks, they just create a lot of dimension and character in this fabric. And I just absolutely love it. It's just gorgeous. And I can't wait to make something more with the balls of yarn that I do have. It does have great stitch definition, and I think it would be really great for some cable projects, like my Ahead of the Curve throw pillow or any other project that you'd be doing some crochet cables, because I think it would really make those cables pop. And as for how the yarn feels, it does have a little bit of that woolly feel, and that, it's almost a little tiny bit scratchy at first, but it does soften up quite a bit after blocking. Now, both of these swatches were wet blocked with a no rinse detergent. I used soak, but you could also use something like a Eucalan, and but soak is definitely my favorite. And I really, really like this yarn. It's really versatile, and you could be using it for a variety of different projects like home accessories, outer garments, different accessory projects like hats, scarves, cowls, things like that. And I'll definitely be using this yarn in the future. So if you'd like to check this yarn out, you can visit your local yarn store, or you can find it online at places like lovecrafts.com. And if you check out the written version of this review on my blog, you'll find a list of free crochet patterns that you can use with this yarn. And so that's it for me today, friends. I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to this channel. If you have any questions about this yarn, or you have experience with this yarn that you'd like to share with our community, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave that in the comment section below. If you like free crochet patterns, don't forget to check out my blog, theloopylamb.com. Thanks so much for watching, friends. Happy hooking, and I'll see you next time.